What's up, Airbnb host? This is Jasper, Get Paid for Your Pet. I'm super excited because I finally breached the 1,000 subscriber mark. Woo! So thanks everybody for subscribing. It's been a pleasure creating these videos, and I hope to create a lot more in the future.
Get paid for your pet.
And we got a question from the audience. The question is, how do you calculate optimal prices if you're in an area that isn't covered by any of the pricing apps, or if you don't want to use them? Calculating optimal prices is not easy, but here are some guidelines that you can use. All right, let's dive in. So let's imagine we are hosting in a small village that, for example, Nederland in Colorado. It's pretty funny because that's the name of my country, and it's also the name of a little village in Colorado. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to select your room type. So let's say we're going to go for an entire house and we're going to be hosting 4 guests. We have a 2-bedroom. So the default will be 4 guests. And so we click on more filters, 2 bedrooms. Let's say 1.5 bathrooms, a couple beds. Now, as for amenities and facilities, I recommend you don't select too much because it really brings down the range of listings that are going to show up. And the fewer listings that are included, the less accurate the average price will be. So I would only select amenities or facilities if you think that it would have a significant impact on the price. Like, for example, if you have a jacuzzi or something, then you might want to select it. Or if you have air conditioning in a place where almost nobody else has it, then I would select it. But for now, I'd say let's keep it as it is. All right, so now Airbnb updates our selection. So these are all the listings that qualify. Now what we do is we click on price, and we get to see that the average price per night in Nederland, Colorado is $292 for a 2-bedroom place with 2 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms. All right, so this is kind of a first guideline, a first estimate of what your base price could be. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to check out a bunch of these listings and see how your listing compares to these listings here. So mainly what you want to look at is the amount of reviews that they have and the ratings. So let's say you're just starting out and you're competing with all these guys who have 89 reviews, 25, 46, 47. In that case, you want to lower your price a bit. So instead of $292, I'd say go maybe 20% under. So maybe in the $230, $240 range, just to make it attractive for people to stay with you so you can build up your reputation on the platform. Now, if you've already been hosting for a while, you already have 20, 30 reviews and you have good ratings, then obviously you can go to the sort of 280 to 320 range. And if you think that your listing is actually a lot more attractive than the listings in your area, then you could charge even more. So now that you have set your base price, you want to adjust your prices to demand. Because if you keep the same price all year round, then during times of high demand, you're losing out on money because you're not commanding a higher price. And during times when demand is low, you might not get fully occupied. So what you want to do is adjust to demand, and the 3 most important factors to look at is day of the week, seasonality, and special events. So for day of the week, it really depends on whether you're catering to business travelers or to tourists, because tourists typically visit during the weekends and business travelers typically visit during the week. As far as seasonality goes, it really depends on your location. If you're, for example, in a ski resort, then obviously the winters are probably going to be seeing higher demand. But if you're in a place near the beach, then the summers will be in higher demand. So it really varies by location, but you'll probably know best. The other way to figure this out is to just look up the visitor stats at the local board of tourism. Sometimes these numbers, you can find them on the website. And if you're in a very small place, then paying a visit to the local tourist agency and asking people what they think will probably provide you with some good information, or maybe you'll have a pretty good idea yourself. The last thing that you want to adjust for is special events. So this is Christmas, New Year's, These could be when there's a conference in town. These could be when there's special events, special cultural events. So I always recommend just Google biggest events in whatever the name of your area is, and that way you can figure that out. So how much do you want to adjust based on demand? Well, there's no right or wrong answer here. It all comes down to experimentation. But I would say start with, in the high season, price about 50% higher than in the low season. And for the special events, maybe start with about double what you would normally charge. Now, once you set your prices, you want to keep them there for a month or so to see how it goes, right? Because you really want to fine tune your prices depending on how many bookings you get. Only experience will teach you more about what your optimal prices are. Here's how you can figure out whether you should increase or decrease your base price as you go. And this is knowledge that we've learned from all the pricing apps that are out there. They've got a lot of data, and they always suggest that you should be booked about 33% for the next 3 months and about 50% for the next month. So if you're higher than that, you want to raise your prices. If you're lower than that, then you want to lower your prices a little bit. Now, the goal here is not to be 100% occupied. The goal is to maximize your income. So even if your occupancy is lower, but if you're raising the price, you might actually make more money than if you're hosting more for a lower price. However, especially if you're starting out, I would always bias towards getting more bookings, because bookings have some inherent value for the long term, because the more bookings you get, the more reviews you get, and that really helps you get more bookings. And so you don't really just want to optimize for optimal income in the short term. You also want to keep in mind that the more people you host, the more mouth-to-mouth advertising, the bigger the reputation that you build. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is last-minute pricing. If you're not booked for, let's say, like the next week or the next 2 weeks or so, you definitely want to lower your prices to attract a few last-minute bookings. Now, how much do you lower your prices? There's really no guidelines for that. It really depends on how low do you want to go. Like some hosts, they don't want to go lower than a certain price because they think it attracts a different type of crowd that they don't want to attract. And also some hosts just can't be bothered with all the effort that they have to put in hosting people, the check-ins and the cleanings, etc. So that's a personal choice. I used to lower my prices quite a bit because I really think that just getting those extra bookings, getting those extra people staying at your house has a very positive effect on the long-term sustainability of your business and the long-term profit of your business. If my standard rate was about $200, I would go as low as maybe $89 or $99 to attract those last-minute bookings. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course I'll be back with another one tomorrow.
Get paid for your pet.